The Liliana and Priscilla shipping continues as we get a nice kiss scene. Priscilla went in on that kiss. Damn. She was going in all to break the curse. It was all to break the curse. She had to put that effort into that kiss. But yes, episode 60 of ReZero, fantastic episode as always. The action, the animation, everything was just top notch, except for maybe some of the skating was a little bit off. Other than that, it looked incredible. The episode itself looked incredible. But yes, we're getting into astronomy apparently. I mean, we had the names there. I'm not big on astronomy, but I was picking up on the names. I don't know the lore and whatnot behind or the deeper subjects of the actual astronomy itself, but I get the names. And it looks like we're actually leaning in on it, having the idea of Little King and Regulus itself. It all kind of seemed to be fitting. Now, yes, I'm starting to kind of curious if the direction they're going to go with Regulus specifically is that, yes, Regulus is the big Leo, and then possibly there's another one elsewhere that is Little Leo. That seems to be the direction it's going to. I mean, I think Regulus is supposed to be like the star on the foot of it, so it could possibly be his weak point is his foot. But yeah, I think they're more going for the idea of there being another one elsewhere, which would make sense. 184 sort of kind of hinting at, there being a Little Leo. It does sort of lean into the idea of there being a smaller Leo or something like that, or another Leo elsewhere that maybe Emilia is going to be going after while Subaru keeps him busy. I think that's probably the direction going. That was where I was going before I even started kind of thinking about the idea of astronomy and connecting these characters to that, is the idea there being another one elsewhere, a core, and this just being a homunculus. This just being something that's a puppet being sent out to fight that can't die. It just has no heartbeat. It's not even a living being, and they're just beating the crap out of that, while elsewhere, there's the real Regulus. There's the real one that's elsewhere that, again, Emilia's... I don't know how she's going to find it. Now, the other direction they can go to is specifically on the idea of stopping time, and specifically that Subaru is saying, yeah, you have the ability to stop time. Your heart's not beating. We can't do damage to you. Time itself for your body is stood still. And I think that they've kind of hinted several times. I mean, they're going based on a schedule when they're here, but that could be strictly on the idea that their goals and the step-by-step they're supposed to be taking is based on the book. And the book says when the bell chimes this point, you do something else. But it could be that specific times they have to take action because Regulus himself is stopped in time, and so they have to sort of coordinate that. And so that would kind of lean into the idea of, yes, when he first showed up, it was around the bell toll, and then he immediately went to leave. He didn't stay there very long. So I'm kind of curious if it will be based on the time itself. Maybe Emilia has to go to the clock tower or something like that. I don't know. My mind was more leaning towards the idea of there being another one. Before I even, again, started thinking about astronomy and trying to connect that, I was more thinking this has got to be a puppet, and the real one is elsewhere. And so that puppet could be knocked around all at once. But yeah, getting to the episode proper, episode 60, really, again, fantastic episode, opening it up with, yes, Fettis being confronted by Capella. I'm thinking at this point that I think Fettis was actually playing into this. It really did seem like Fettis was being, taken down and emotionally manipulated. I think it still hits him. I think the idea of stabbing Krush and Krush bleeding out in front of him, yeah, obviously going to affect him. But I think there was a sign of here that there was an act being played out. That, yes, the dropping of the knife was sort of a signal for Anastasia to get up. But it was still twisted. Capella just coming up there, just saying, hey, what are you going to do? You going to do something to me? And stabs him. How could you do that? I thought you loved me. Our bonds are not that weak. And slamming against the wall. And then some interesting comment comes up. It felt like Fettis was specifically trying to get out an explanation of what to do with Krush. Krush right now is suffering, has a dragon blood in them, but I'm guessing based on what Fettis is saying, Krush can't be healed even yet. That's the struggle there. And yes, the only thing that we've gotten so far that has affected healing in this whole segment is the idea of this one attack causing them to not be able to heal them. And they're going to have to take down Tricia in order to, I guess, undo that curse that's keeping them from being healed. But it does seem like the dragon's blood as well is not, they're not able to heal them, even with the dragon blood out. They've stated here, all the dragon blood is taken out. I was wondering if possibly Subaru only took a certain amount, because Krush at some point stopped him. But Fettis is sort of indicating that all of the dragon blood is out. But right here, saying, hey, how do I heal them now that the dragon blood's out? Interesting enough, Capella says, how do you heal them after she's lost the dragon blood? That's what I want to know too. Curious? Curious? Yeah, that's a massive question mark there. So it indicates that Capella is dealing with the same problem and wants to know the answer to it. I have the same problem. Now, is that Capella herself? The idea that, again, what we've sort of been hinting at so far is that Capella, her body possibly might be this princess of the past. The royal family had this blessing from the dragon's blood, and possibly she wants to get rid of that. Maybe she wants to die. Maybe there's somebody that she loves that is maybe infected by that blood, and she wants to get rid of it in order to help them. It could be the idea that the dragon's blood itself could be a blessing and a curse all in one. And possibly somebody that she's trying to save, or possibly herself, has been infected by this blood, and she wants to undo it in order to heal or overcome something. But it was very, very out of nowhere, kind of throw that comment out there and then kind of transition forward. But yes, Anastasia gets up. Now, there was a side of me that was almost like, did Anastasia take some of that dragon's blood? I don't think so. I think she just had like the markings on her face in order to make herself look like Krush. But it was odd that she decided to disguise her like eye too. She had the wrap on and she went all the way to kind of draw the markings on her entire face despite being covered up. So it kind of made me wonder for a brief moment, is she infected too? Does she allow herself to take some of that? I don't think she'd go that far. I don't think Anastasia would go that far for Krush. I think it was just a disguise. Obviously the entire thing was a disguise, but it was just odd that she covered her entire face with the scarring. But yes, Anastasia finally using abilities. I don't think we've ever seen Anastasia ever show abilities. I thought that her whole thing as one of the candidates was strictly on the idea of her resourcefulness. She's all about the trade and everything. But it does seem like, yes, she does have power. I mean, just like all the other candidates, she does have power some way, magic itself. But it was cool seeing her finally in action, coming there saying that she's a proxy. It seemed like even towards the end there, it almost seemed like Capella still believed that it was Krush and not Anastasia, because she was still finally shocked all the way at the very end of it. Obviously indicating that it doesn't seem like she even knows who Krush is, just finding out who Krush is. But yeah, it was all an attempt to draw Capella into a trap, drops her down below. And that's where Al shows up. Al shows up and says something very, very, very interesting that still is continuing to play into my theories around Al himself, which at this point for most people is pretty obvious, or at least the hints are obvious. If it is what it is the question mark. But yes, Capella says, my aesthetics work against even those that hide their face. And then he says, I'm pretty ticked off today. You need to get out of here before I die. Question mark? Question mark? What is that comment? It's the idea of like almost telling her to get the hell out of here. Like I'm angry. Yeah. Why Al is angry? That's a good question mark. Like what is currently bothering him? Is it because things aren't going his way? Is it because, yes, just prior to this, he was technically with Subaru and Subaru was kind of pushing back to what he thought Subaru should do? That all could be kind of making him angry. It could be that he has a current plan. Again, why he's there. Again, what my assumption could be is that he's trying to deviate the time's path away from what he possibly tried before as Subaru. Again, my current theory is that Al is Subaru, a different timeline Subaru. And again, it also plays into the fact that he says, before I die. Now, he could have some sort of ability that kind of triggers if he himself dies. That's not Subaru's ability, which is rewinding time. But he could be right here saying, get out of here before I die, because that's going to make time reset. That would be really interesting, that if that if Subaru himself doesn't die and time still gets reset, that's obviously going to be like, wait, what? Did I die? And I think it would be probably a thing where Subaru wakes up at a previous checkpoint and goes, oh, I must have died so instantly, I didn't even know I died. Something hit me so fast, bam. Which I think has technically happened before, where it's been such an instant death that it's almost like a shock. But I mean, the poison's a good example. Like he just goes to sleep and then he wakes up and it's the previous day and he's like, crap, what happened? I must have died when I was asleep. There could be points where he just doesn't know what actually hit him and then time resets. I'd be very curious if Al is in fact Subaru or has some sort of tie-in with Subaru, be a child of Subaru or something like that. And then if he experienced death and has that rewind time, that it would be similar. But again, that would be requiring him to be somehow tied in with Satella, which that might not be the case for Al if, again, he's somehow tied with him. But again, very, very interesting comment. Like, it was one of those ones where when he said that, I'm like, what? Did he say when I die or before you die? He did say I die. Wait, what? It was very, 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 very curious. But yes, other than that, we had Wrath and Priscilla again. Nice little kiss scene there. I was a little bit bummed the fact that when they first got there, Liliana immediately got picked up by Wrath. And my assumption was going to be that Priscilla would not be affected by it. But I did kind of wonder if possibly Liliana would be as well, because she's a songstress and it seems like that's her whole thing, is being able to unite hearts. I didn't think that she was going to get swept up in it, but apparently she did. I almost thought for the very beginning there, I'm like, Liliana's just putting on an act. Like Priscilla and Liliana, before this started, they established, yeah, we're going to go in there and you're going to act like you're getting swept up in it, and then we're going to trick her. No, Liliana just got picked up into it. Yeah, we should all come together. Man, she's so much nicer than I thought she would be. I totally got her wrong. We should all get together. Let's go, Priscilla. Idiot. Kiss. What was it? Something like you're very receptive to not just blessings, but curses or something like that. Just starts Frenching her, like just going all in, slurp, everything only on. I can't get married now. Well, I guess the same goes for me too. Indicating that Priscilla, that was her first kiss. Is that indicating that that's Priscilla's first kiss? Is she a shoujo too? She's never kissed. I wouldn't doubt it. I think Priscilla gives me sort of a feeling of one of those types of characters. The ones that seem like they're very confident. They're just out there. They have that confidence and they show that confidence. But they're not like, they're not sleeping with everybody. They're not just like with anybody. She's keeping herself pure, but she has confidence. And it kind of made me feel like, yeah, maybe Priscilla is just, keeping herself for somebody. And that was her first kiss was with Liliana. She had to do what she had to do. She was a good kisser for the first time. But no, that was a very nice little kiss there. She has a kiss so powerful, she's able to overcome that. I was just so freaking flustered by it. Yes, they bring the villagers. That's when she sends her over, Liliana over there. I like seeing Liliana just psych herself up. Gotta go out there, get the job done while Priscilla's doing her thing. But no, very interesting exchange with Sirius, of course, having Priscilla engaging with her. And it seemed like Sirius was really trying to drive home the idea that she's never met somebody like Priscilla. The obvious thing that came to my mind when she said that was, the fact that Sirius is trying to instill upon her this ability that she has. The ability that Sirius has is to sort of bring people together. Love, uniting everybody. Let's unite everything. I've never run into somebody like you. Somebody that won't accept that. Somebody that won't accept the idea of uniting as one. And this sort of does, again, kind of tie my brain back to when Subaru first confronted Priscilla about helping him with his situation. She offered to help him out, but then immediately when he goes to kiss her foot, kicks him away. You're weak. In the end, she didn't join them in their endeavor. Didn't want to help them. It seems like it's really driving home right here that Priscilla isn't about uniting with other people. She is kind of right now, but it's to her own goal. You don't know me. I'm not following into your whole thing. You'll never understand my motives. But again, from Sirius's perspective, I want you to join me. That's how I work. That's how I function. You have to join us. Join us. You don't seem to want to join us. Love is a great thing. Why would you not want to join us? It seems like you're pushing back against love. Come join us. I've never met somebody like you. And that's when, yes, it seems like Sirius touches on a little nerve here. Brings up Iris and the Thorn King, Telios Rose Knight, and Magritte's Gibbet. 3 different concepts here, 3 different stories here they're bringing up. This all sets Priscilla off. I don't recognize any of those names. I recognize none of those names. I am familiar with a Thorn King concept or a story about the Thorn King, but I've never really heard any of those other ones. So I'm assuming those are stories of the past. And that makes sense because these are things that it seems like Priscilla is picking up on. But I don't think they've ever brought these up in the past. So these are all obviously something that Priscilla is familiar with. And they're all seemingly tied into a concept of some sort of coupling, because that's what Sirius is trying to press upon them. Oh, you want to push back on this. You don't want to accept the idea of love and bonding and staying together. Well, what about these stories? And that sets Priscilla off. Not only are there seemingly stories about bonds and people coming together, but there are also things that are really upsetting Priscilla. So they have to be stories that she's familiar with, or at least directly involved with or connected to. And again, going back to my theories on who Sirius is, which is Fortuna. Fortuna has been around for a long, long time. Not only that she's become one of these cultists, which makes me believe that they possibly have some sort of longevity in their life, but also the fact that she used to be an elf that was long-lived. So it makes me believe that she's aware of other people, a Thorn King specifically, knights and whatnot, that have been in the past that may be directly connected to Priscilla. Her parents, somebody that she knows, somebody that she was... It kind of makes me wonder if they are stories, because they sound like titles of books. They sound like folk tales. And if that's the case, then these are things that have been around for a long time. And again, for Torna's long life, kind of makes you start to wonder has Priscilla been around for a long time? If these are just parents or possibly way past generations of her family bloodline, it might not be so long ago, but they wouldn't have stories for them that Fortuna would be familiar with. It does kind of make me wonder can Priscilla be somebody that has been around for a long time, and these are individuals that she is directly familiar with, either relatives or relationships that she has known. It would be crazy if possibly she is each one of these people. That these are 3 different tales or stories, and Priscilla herself is these individuals. Is she Iris in the story Iris and the Thorn King? Is she Telos, who knew the Rose Knight? Is she Margaretzer? I don't know. That's sort of where my mind is going to. 2 different directions my mind is going to. The idea that these are her parents, great-grandparents, people of her family bloodline, or are these her? I don't know. That's the 2 directions I'm going. I want to say it's probably her because she's really mad when she hears this. This ticks her off enough that she grinds her teeth. That makes me believe that these aren't her great-grandparents or whatever. But we'll see. We'll see. She gets hit at the very end. I'm not happy about that. I think she's playing into it because this show is not afraid of showing blood. And if she was really hit hard by something like that, I think it would show blood. But it could have been a blunt hit. Again, the very end of the actual blade itself, not the tip, and it hitting her straight in the forehead or something like that. I hope she's okay. I don't want Priscilla to get hurt. But yeah, the rest of the episode was, of course, facing off against Regulus, starting it off with just kicking him around, trying different things, different plans, trying them out, trying to completely freeze and crush him. Amazing animation around. There's always amazing animation around Emilia casting spells. Just absolutely love the flow of her hands and the spell itself coming down. And yeah, technically the Regulus getting really annoyed. Dude, you guys don't get it. Stop knocking me around. That's not going to work. Stop it. Lots of cute Emilia noises, though. Her little squeaks are always super cute. But yes, their next plan was to try out different vital points. Girl hit him in the groin. I mean, I don't like Regulus. I like his demeanor, and I find his character to be really quirky. But dude, that's going too far, Subaru. Having her hit him in the groin. But no, that'd be a chase while she's figure skating and skating down the thing, and then suddenly you look back and you see Regulus, and he's doing the Jason walk, just doing the slow little Jason walk. He's got some swag to himself, man. He's got some walk to himself. But yeah, it looks like Jason. But no, I liked Emilia's kind of choice words for him. Like, no, you don't. You're selfish. You keep saying that you want. You chain down your wives. You break their wills. I hate you. But yeah, kind of pointing out the fact of how like selfish he is and how childish he is, which I've always kind of found very interesting. I've always kind of had this feeling that I don't think that Regulus himself is like some like player or something like that. Like back when he first asked her if she was a virgin, I think he wanted everything around him to be pure because I think he himself is probably pure. He's probably a virgin too. That was kind of the direction I was thinking they're going. Not that I would think that it'd be some kind of like grand plot line, but I kind of think that's what his sort of core is. And it might be story related. But yes, she obviously picked up on that and pointed that out to Subaru. He gets super angry. Subaru acts like we were all acting last core when he first brought that up. And everybody's like, holy crap, don't you touch her. That's totally Subaru. I'm going to kill him. He asked her if she's a virgin. I'm going to kill him. But yeah, there is a feeling there that I think that was brought up for a reason. I almost feel like 184 probably touched on that for a reason. He's a very puny little king or whatever. Yeah, he's a little king. I think there's a possibility that 84 knows, and that was her attempt to sort of help Emilia figure it out. Possibly. It could have just been a slip. But yes, them getting into all that stuff eventually does trigger Subaru to connect the fact that, yes, every single one of these names of the cultist members, the archbishops are all related to some sort of, star and whatnot, constellation. And so he's making the connection to Regulus himself and the king. And yes, gets into Leo and minor Leo, which again, I'm not a big astronomy person, but I do sort of recall some aspects of that Regulus was, again, I think it's the foot of the big lion is that star, which again could, if it's just connected to that, may mean that his weak point is his foot, or it could, again, because they're bringing up Little King and they're stuck on that, that could be Leo Minor, which is the smaller one, which would, again, imply the idea of it being a separate entity as elsewhere. I just don't know why he would bring up the idea of stopping time. That could be getting into deeper astronomy stuff that I'm not aware of, and the folklore's there. That stuff I have no clue about, never been my thing, but I guess there's possibly something there in the story of some sort of stop in time, which could be. It could be that the minor Leo could possibly be stopping the time for the bigger Leo, and thus they have to stop that. But again, I think they're probably implying, once again, that there's another one elsewhere. The question is, how can they find it? Again, it seems like Subaru is trying to keep Regulus busy while she does something else. It could be that she's going to catch him off guard, again, strike his foot or whatever, or it could be the idea that she's got to find him. She's just running around looking for him. Again, how do you know where he's at? That's the massive question mark there. It would suck if it was 184. In the end, we find out that it's actually 184. I don't think he would strike at his core, though. That would be crazy. But yeah, it would be a super twist if it's one of the wives. One of the wives is it. I guess he could be doing that. Subaru may have told Emilia, go back to the church and see if you can find the core. Find one of those wives is going to be the core. But again, how could she find out? I guess it would probably be in if she can, push each one of them, find out which one doesn't react the same as the other ones, because they're all staying still because they were told to, whereas the core might strike back at her. We'll see. But yeah, Reinhardt got thrown in the air. Reinhardt finally got Regulus. He got team rocketed out of the area, so hopefully he comes back. Hopefully he doesn't end up in space. But yeah, I think that's the episode. Really good episode again. I love how this writer is so good at having something like this and then just having these little casual drops of info. And it's like, oh, I gotta dig into that. That's totally leaning on this. What do they mean by that? Every single sentence I just get stuck on, and I love that kind of crap. That's why I love this series so much. But that's my thoughts on episode 60. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, hit the like button down below, comment, let me know what's the episode. Again, if you're a light novel fan, I don't need answers to any of this stuff. This is just fun speculating. Let's all have fun speculating together. We'll figure it out later. But yes, if you like this content, you want to support the channel more, I have links in the description below. Greatly appreciate it. But until next time, you'll take care.